is the Jesse Kelly Show, final hour of the Jesse Kelly Show on a wonderful Wednesday. We are going to talk about Democrats who are waking up right now and converting. We're about to applaud them and discuss this. Then we're going to do a bunch of emails and other stuff. It's been a wild show tonight. And if I may say, it's been pretty incredible, Chris. Pretty incredible. All right, quit. Democrats, there are more than one or two. They are leaving the Democrat Party in the wake of the murder of Charlie Kirk. It wasn't just the murder. It's the response to the murder that has horrified these people. Absolutely horrified these people. Some. It's obviously not the majority, but there are some. So I need to explain something right now. Have you ever heard the term blood in, blood out? You ever heard that? It's a term gangs use. Organized crime, mafia, it's a term they use. And what does it mean? It means to get out, you have to die. If you try to get out, they'll kill you. Why? Why is that? Why? If I'm part of a street gang and I don't want to do it anymore, why won't you just let me leave? My heart's not in it. I want to go be a plumber. I'm all done with the whole drug dealing, killing people thing. Why won't you just let me leave? Well, it's about all the other people in the gang. They have to see that getting out means the end, that it is rigidly enforced, and so they know it's not an option. It's not just that these gangs will kill people who leave. They will oftentimes kill them in the most gruesome, horrible ways they can come up with. Why? To send a message. To send a message to the others. Now let's talk about communists, politics, Democrats. Have you ever seen how they treat former Democrats? Of course you have. The things they say. If you want to see people saying the N-word to someone, don't go to a KKK rally. Go look at how they treat a black former Democrat who turns conservative. You will see N-word all over the place, Uncle Tom. And what's that about? Are they racists? It's not that they're racist. They are trying to hurt him. They are trying to hurt her. And it's not specifically about that person. They are trying to, just like a gang, they are trying to send a message to the others. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about being a traitor. Don't even think about being a heretic. If you leave, you will be treated in the most vicious way humanly possible once you become a traitor to the revolution. And every former Democrat I know or talk to says the exact same thing. They tear these people apart. So, what I'm saying is this. If you have a Democrat in your life, the liberal Aunt Peggy in your life, who is maybe waking up. It does happen. It can happen. Maybe coming around. Give that person the utmost respect. Because to leave the Democrat Party for any reason, it is to invite such viciousness. Your friends will not just abandon you, they will savage you. It is essentially taking apart your whole world. Everything you know, your friends will leave. Organizations you belong to will ostracize you. That person in your life who is even thinking about leaving deserves all your respect, deserves your prayer, deserves whatever support and friendship you can give them. If it sounds like I'm describing somebody leaving a cult, it's because I am, very much so. Cult members who have woken up and left or tried to leave, all of them speak about the fear they had at what would happen to them by members of the cult if they leave, because it is a control mechanism. And right now, there are Democrats who still have souls who realize their party are a bunch of murderous communist demons who celebrate the death of others. They may not be full-blown Republicans. They may not agree with you on illegal immigration or gay marriage or something. They probably don't. But they understand they don't want to be part of a death cult. If they are waking up in your life, help in any way you can. They need it, all right? They need it bad. I mean, look at this. Over 100 Texas teachers are suspended for reprehensible social media posts about Charlie Kirk. We're not talking one or two people here. That's 100 teachers just in the state of Texas who went online saying, "Woo, he's dead." This kind of widespread demonic celebration of death does have the effect of turning people off. Even people who vote Democrat every single time are grossed out, and they don't want to be associated with it. If you have one in your life, show them support. If you see one talking about it on social media, even someone you have hated in the past, even someone you still disagree with now, show them support. It takes guts to leave a cult. It takes guts to leave the Democrat Party because they will not treat you kindly for it. All right? All right. Jesse, Pam Bondi acts like she's more interested in getting on the cover of Vogue magazine than being a serious U.S. Attorney General. Well, we have to keep something in mind. We have to remember that what we want, the things we're passionate about, aren't necessarily shared by all the people who are leaders in positions of power. Attorney General, senators, House members, governors, mayors, wherever it is. They understand they have to speak our language. They understand they have to pretend, but that doesn't mean it's shared. Does Pam Bondi, and I don't know this, I don't know her, does Pam Bondi dream about tearing apart the communist networks in this country? Is that what drives her? Do you think it drives her like it drives you? When we talk about sending James Comey, John Brennan to prison for what they did with power, how much does that motivate you? A lot, doesn't it? Do you think that's what motivates her? Or does being Attorney General motivate her? There's a big, big, big difference between wanting the office and wanting to use the office in the appropriate way. Hey, think about it. 60-year-old woman? Now, Attorney General is going to be towards the top of her life resume, probably at the top. Maybe, just maybe, she thinks this is it. She made it. I got the job. Look at me, Ma, Attorney General. Maybe the media, maybe that is what she wants. Maybe she wants likes on social media. Maybe she likes visiting the White House, doing press conferences, sitting at a big table with President Trump right by her, J.D. Vance on the other side. Feels super good. And hey, she doesn't have to do anything. Certainly not with the vocal backing of Donald Trump. It's hard. It drives us crazy that our elected representatives don't fight for the things we want them to fight for, but we lose sight of the fact a lot of them are just happy to be there. They don't want to be your warrior. They don't want to be your champion. They don't want to save the country. When we've had this discussion many times before about how Pam Bondi's role is arguably more important than Donald Trump's when it comes to saving America. That's how critically important it is that she takes apart these terrorist cells, that she gets John Brennan into prison. That's how important it is. Do you think she knows that? Do you think she cares about that? Do you think saving America is the top of her priority list? Or do you think that book she's undoubtedly writing about being Attorney General, do you think that is the top of her priority list? You're laughing, Chris, because you know I'm right. Of course it is. He knows I'm right. And there are a lot of people like that. And it can be very hard for us, me too, to distinguish who's an actual warrior for my cause versus who's pretending to be a warrior for my cause? There are a lot of pretenders. There are few who actually get in there and dig in and try to get it done. It is the Jesse Kelly Show on a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Remember, you can email the show, jesse@jessekellyshow.com, jesse@jessekellyshow.com. Back to the lies before we do some more emails and other things. This was Jimmy Kimmel on his show. Remember, they think about lying the way you think about telling the truth. They are commanded to do it. They might, on occasion, tell the truth if they absolutely have to. Otherwise, lie at all times.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from.
But he was one of them. It's all verified. This is all public knowledge, verified now. So why would you lie like that? Jimmy Kimmel is not interested in your morality. He does not share your moral framework at all in any way. Jimmy Kimmel believes lying is essential for the revolution. He must continue to create and maintain a world of make-believe so your liberal Aunt Peggy walks into your house this weekend to watch football and screams at the top of her lungs that the assassin was a Donald Trump Republican. She is the one who lives in the world that Jimmy Kimmel maintains. He put down the foundation. He put up the drywall. He put up the windows. It's all a big facade, and she's the one who lives in it. And without the army of lies, without lie after lie after lie after lie, liberal Aunt Peggy will end up peeking through the window and seeing the truth, and that the communist can never, ever, 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 ever afford. There is a quote that I'm not even going to attempt to get right now from Lenin, and his quote was essentially this. He was writing another communist who was trying to have a revolution and seize power and whatnot. And what Lenin goes through is he goes through all the different segments of society and says, you should promise them this, and you should promise them that, and you should promise them this. You should not, however, feel obligated at all to fulfill these promises. This is how the communist believes. This is how he thinks. He is at war. In war, you gotta lie. That's part of it. Jesse, ultimate vengeance is the subject here. Ooh. I was angry a long time, but listening keeps me balanced. After what happened to Charlie, I was ready to do things, but I listened to you, rationalized me, and I took your advice. Last night, I started the process of signing up with my local Hillsborough Republican Party. That's in Tampa, by the way, and the place was packed. I needed a new church home after this weekend because of what the black church did, and I found one at this meeting. The party chair had a pastor come in for the Charlie Kirk tribute. He was black and conservative, and now me and my son will be attending his church. Your anger, your sadness can be used to save this country. We do not need to do violence. You stay legal. What are the two L's we've talked about endlessly? How do we save this country? Two L's, legal and local. Legal and local. We don't need you grabbing a weapon and going out and finding a Democrat to hurt. That is the last thing in the world we need. But that doesn't mean there's no outlet for your anger. Turn your anger into activism. Get out to your local Republican precinct. And by the way, when you start to get involved in party politics, if that is your form of activism, you're going to find a lot of rot and filth in there. You're going to find a lot of people who shouldn't be there. Good, get rid of them. Turn that activism into reforming the Republican Party as well. Don't think for a second they're all the good guys. They're not. There's a bunch of losers and spineless dorks in there who need to be replaced by somebody who is clear-eyed about where we are. Turn your anger into activism of some kind. And you know what's wild about that? The second you get involved, I mean, we look around at how dire everything is, but the second you get involved and do anything, you might consider it small, you will feel better about the country and where we are. And you know what that is? That's duty. You have a duty on this planet to do certain things. You weren't put here just to watch football and eat pizza, although both of those things are wonderful. You were put here with a purpose. And when you start to live out that purpose, there's a contentment that comes with it, even on the frustrating days. Even on the days where you run into some dirtball rhino at the local Republican Party who's screwing you over and he's endorsing John Cornyn. And you're, even on those days where you are frustrated, it is fulfilling to get involved. I want to stress again, your school board. You do not have to have children. You do not have to have any special qualifications. Your school board is critically important. How many teachers have we seen in the past week reveal themselves to be subhuman monsters? How many? Legions of them. The communists choose that profession because it gives them access to your children. And as we've discussed many times before, that's what they want, is your children. They want to steal your children, break your children. Why don't you get in that school board? Nobody even runs for these positions. I can't stress that enough. The people who are on your school board now, go look at the last election results. Go look at the last thing they did. The last vote total, I mean, when I say thing they did. Go look at how many votes they got. You think you can do that with a little hard work? A little sweat? Some door knocking? Texting your friends? Be shocked what you can do. All right. We'll do some more of these in a moment. I want to talk about homelessness real quick. Next. It is the Jesse Kelly Show on a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, a hump day. And so I wanted to talk to you about something before we get back into the emails and anything else. I'm going to talk to you about homelessness really quickly. There's a story, a terrible story out of Minneapolis. 2 shootings at homeless encampments, 13 people wounded. It's not a story that's going to have crossed your radar most likely. But I just wanted to remind you that homelessness in your city is also a choice. It is a choice that has been made. Cities throughout history, including American history, have cleaned up and cleaned out homelessness. So you're not surrounded by drugs and filth and crime and mentally ill. And that cities have made the choice to get rid of it. And they've gotten rid of it. It's not like it's an army here. It's a bunch of whacked out, crazy druggies. It's not hard to get rid of it. If your city has a homeless problem, it's because the Democrats who run your city want a homeless problem. It is a choice. Crime is a choice. Decline is a choice. Don't ever let these people off the hook as in they're misguided. And let's remember something. There are casualties for allowing this to happen. Casualties. How many people are attacked, murdered by some crazy drugged out homeless person? There is a lot of belief, I don't think we'll ever get full answers on this, that it was a homeless person or homeless encampment that started that terrible fire in California that burned up all those homes. There's a lot of that out there. Remember that it's a choice, okay? It's a choice. And also remember, Democrats have made a choice, and it's communism.
Socialism is not a 4-letter word in Democratic primaries, not among Democratic voters. It's a 5-letter word in the minds of a lot of Democrats, that 5-letter word being great. Look at this. Net popularity of socialism among Democrats. You go back to 2010, it was plus 7 points. Look how high it is now, up like a rocket, up to plus 36 points. That's a jump of nearly 30 points on the net popularity scale among Democrats in just 15 years. And I was looking at the polling from New York City, and what you see is the clear plurality of New York City Democrats think the idea of having a socialist mayor is a good idea, matching what we see nationally. The bottom line is socialism isn't a dirty word among Democrats at this particular point. It's actually a word that, when attached, Democrats seem to like it.
We have experienced, in case you're wondering why the world seems like it's gone bonkers in the last 10, 15 years, it's because Democrats have gone bonkers. They've lost their minds. This was not the Democrat Party of old. It has nothing to do with that at all. Barack Obama deserves a lot of credit for it, or blame for it, either way you want to put it. But yeah, that's a good point, Chris. They got rid of the moderates. And anyone who, if there are any moderates left, they understand they can't pretend to be moderate. If you're a moderate in the Democrat Party now, you had better pretend to be a communist. See, Kathy Hochul endorsed that Mamdani communist for New York City mayor.
What I would say is capitalism in the mind of Democrats is a three-letter word, bad. What are we talking about? Net popularity of socialism among Democrats. Look at this trend. It was plus 8 points in 2010 on the positive side of the ledger. Look at where we are in 2020.
That's the same one I just played. That doesn't make any sense. Either way, wait a minute, it's this one.
What I would say is capitalism in the mind of Democrats is a three-letter word, bad. What are we talking about? Net popularity of socialism among Democrats. Look at this trend. It was plus 8 points in 2010 on the positive side of the ledger. Look at where we are in 2025, down.
I think the same audio cut got put on there 3 times. Either way, Kathy Hochul, New York Governor Kathy Hochul, just endorsed the communists in New York City. Did you know that? Just endorsed the communists. Now, why? Well, here's why. Kathy Hochul has to run again. And Kathy Hochul understands that her base, they're communists now. That's why the world got so crazy in the last 10 to 15 years. As I've told you many, many times before, we have to have either the complete elimination of the Democrat Party or a reformed Democrat Party that is nothing like it is now. And I don't know where we go for that because I'm not part of it and I don't want to be part of it, so I can't change it. But that has to change or it's hard to put the band back together. Jesse, I was thinking about how technology throughout history is used nefariously. You figure out how to make a shovel, then you figure out how to make a sword, and then someone makes an airplane and tractors, and then someone put guns on it. It's the same for the internet. Yeah, look, anything, even wonderful things, can be used for evil. Things can be used for good, and things can be used for evil. And the problem is we don't want to talk about the evil portion of it. Jesse, you mentioned a guy smoking an 18-pound brisket, and Chris said it would cost $50. Then this lady goes on to say USDA high-end prime grade goes for $6-7 a pound. That's $108 to $126. Choice grade goes $4 to $5 per pound, $72 to $90. USDA low select grade is $63. So the basic middle ground average between $63 and $126, it's definitely not $50. Just thought you'd like to know. No, lady, you're right. But you need to understand that we are dealing with Jewish producer Chris here. I almost guarantee you when Chris gets a brisket that he probably calls ahead to the butcher and asks which meat is starting to go bad or about to go bad or expire, and if there's some sort of a discount. When Chris said $50 brisket, the more I thought about it, the more it made sense to me. I bet Chris pays $50 for a brisket. Granted, it's a $75 brisket or a $100 brisket, but I'm sure he probably, takes some chances on it. What, Chris? Am I wrong? No, I don't pick them up on sale, Chris. No, I don't pick them up on sale because if I ever am going to spend the money on a brisket, I don't think an extra $5 to $10 is worth the savings. If I'm going to spend the money and buy a decent cut of meat so everybody enjoying the brisket can enjoy the actual brisket. I'm not going into it right now. Anyway, I swear Chris's brisket, I guarantee it is $50. I guarantee it. Chris, where do you buy your brisket at, by the way? Buy it at the grocery store, huh? What do you talk to the butcher about? You know what? I don't even want to go into it. Jesse, Now, the subject of this one is bread. I would never expect an Irish boy like you to understand bread unless it's potato bread. But do you know the difference between French bread and Italian bread? His name is Mike. No, they both just surrender. Jesse. Actually, this guy says, Princess Mousepaws, have you ever considered doing a 5-minute history/politics lesson for your junior listeners? Short discussions on the founding of the country, how the government works. I think you'd be great at it. Says his name is Chris. Well, there are other people already doing that. Other organizations already doing that. The first one that comes to mind is, if you're looking for shorter stuff, Prager does that, and they do it very, very well. For longer stuff, more in-depth, Hillsdale's just impossible to beat. I don't know that there's room for me there, or that I don't know that I'm needed there. Does that make sense? If I felt called to do it, I would be interested in it, but there are super talented people already doing it. And maybe I'm naive. I like to think that this show that we already do is consumable for kids. It's not just that it's family friendly. You know, I don't cuss, or I'm not going to say anything disgusting for your kids. You can leave the room, and I'm still not going to mess your kids up. My kids listen, right? People at my church listen, right? My mom's church group, she warns me all the time, listens, right? I'm not going to mess you up. I like to think that it's consumable for kids. Maybe it's not. It is the Jesse Kelly Show, final segment of the Jesse Kelly Show on a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Remember, you can email the show, jesse@jessekellyshow.com. If you missed any part of the show, you can download it, iHeart, Spotify, iTunes. I mean, especially if you missed the tournament.
It's the 2025 crappiest country in the world competition. Tonight's matchup is between Bangladesh and Rwanda. Brought to you by Holy Trash Bags. Keep your place trashy.
Let us continue, shall we? First, before I get to your emails and things like that, I wanted to point something out. There's a headline here. I'm sure you're all over it. Ostrich and emu ancestors could fly, scientists discover. Do you ever think about dinosaurs? I think about dinosaurs a lot. Would you like to visit that time? If you didn't have protections, I'm talking nothing more than a firearm, do they interest you enough to visit that time? For me, I'm talking total time machine thing here. And if you survive, well, let's call it a day, a couple days, you can come back. Does that interest you? Chris, am I crazy to want to do this terribly? What? Chris said that I get to bring the meat home. Yes, Chris, I know it'll be a huge cost savings. I know. Yes, you can. Yes, I totally do want to know what it tastes like. Actually, I can't even make fun of you. I have wanted to eat a Triceratops for years. For years. I'm dying to know what it tasted like. And they've got to be super fatty. If they're eating that much stuff, they've got to have a lot of fat on them. I would totally want to eat one completely. I wouldn't necessarily want to be eaten by one, but how often could that have happened? And if I have a gun, granted, it would have to be a large one, a large caliber of some kind. The thing that holds me back, though, is the bird situation. The flying birds that are, what's that, Chris, what is that eagle? Is it a condor? What is that gigantic bird of prey? I think it's the biggest bird of prey. Do I have it right, condor? Yeah, some eagle, condor. I'm not Marty Stauffer, okay? I don't know what that is. But I know that at one point in time, I watched a nature documentary on it. I have no idea why I'm talking about this, by the way. At one point in time, I watched a nature documentary on it, and it was grabbing monkeys out of the tree. And not little tiny monkeys either. They weren't human-sized monkeys, but they were decent-sized monkeys. And it was just, whoom, and it was horrifying. And I remember thinking to myself, could that thing get a human? It definitely could get a kid. Definitely could get a kid. And then, of course, because this is the way my mind works, I remember thinking, there were dinosaurs that could do that to me. It's the air dinosaurs that I find uniquely scary. T-Rex, bring it on. Jesse, I'm sickened by the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Eerie how you called something like this happening just a few months ago. Your knowledge of history, how it repeats itself, how nothing new is under the sun, enables you to predict the future. I would love to hear some more predictions, negative and positive, so we can be prepared. I'll give you a prediction right now. It's good and bad. More people in our movement are going to die. There are going to be communist terrorist assassinations, bombs. Remember, they already tried to blow up a Fox News truck in the wake of it. There are terror cells in our country, and more people will die. Charlie Kirk will not be the last one. More people will die. I'm just about guarantee you of that. But I believe that communism is on the outs in this country. And I believe in 10 to 20 years from now, it will not be snuffed out completely, because the devil is not going to be snuffed out completely, not here. But I believe the Democrat Party is going to be almost extinct in 10 to 20 years from now. I do. I think there's a chance of it, I should say. I think there's a chance of it because of young people getting involved, because of old people getting involved, middle-aged people getting involved. These things, martyrs always throughout, I shouldn't say always, but most of the time throughout history, martyrs inspire people. That doesn't make people fearful. And it's great. Every society seems to have tried it at some point or another. Grab the leader, grab one of the leaders, and let's make an example of him. Let's burn him at the stake. Let's do this. Let's do that. But it doesn't have the effect. Oftentimes, it has the exact opposite effect. Turning Point USA chapters growing now all over the country. Donations flooding in. Church pews packed on Sunday. That is the opposite effect of what they wanted. And what will happen is, as they continue, and I believe they will, and I know that's scary, I'm sorry, as they continue to kill and do what they do, we will continue to rise. And we are more powerful than they are. So there.
And now,
Here's a headline.
Go, you know the thing.
headlines we didn't get to.
House Republicans target 1975 law and green building appliance energy efficiency rules. Sometimes you forget that for decades we have been attacked from within by these enviro nut jobs. We pay too much for power. Our toilets suck now. Our fridges suck now. Our windows suck now. It all sucks for these people. It's a friggin' nightmare because of these people. We have a lot of work to do. DOJ sues Maine and Oregon over voter registration lists. It's so weird how all these Democrat states have these voter registration lists that don't seem to be on the up and up. I wonder what's going on there. Senator Josh Hawley calls for legal accountability for the funders of the riots. Yes, he could call for it all day long. That's good and fine. But we still need an attorney general who's going to do something about it. French jet circles for an hour as the sole air traffic controller sleeps. That's the most French story I've ever heard in my entire life. I will see you tomorrow and we'll do it again. That's all.